Who's that?
Back in 2004, Metal Gear Solid 3 was a milestone moment not just for stealth games, but for gaming as a whole. And speaking personally, it's one of my favorite games of all time. Metal Gear Solid Delta is a total makeover and includes a couple of quality of life improvements, but for the most part, this is the same Metal Gear Solid 3 that fans know and love. And as such, there are a ton of small details and what I like to call Kojima-isms, or little touches that only Hideo Kojima would ever think of, that still remain in the game.
Is there a way to take off my pants?
Say what?
My pants, can I?
Oh, hell no! This Fox unit is a nutfest!
And so here's a list of things that Metal Gear Solid Delta doesn't tell you. Right at the start, we gotta discuss one of the few new things in Delta, film reels. You may notice when you kill certain enemies, a peculiar noise along with a strip of film fly off their backs when you touch or shoot them. These enemies were holding film reels, a new type of collectible that can only be obtained by sneaking up behind them, holding them up, and then moving around to their front and aiming your gun at their face to make them drop the reel. These reels unlock special movies that are viewable after beating the game, so they're well worth hunting down. If you're new to Metal Gear Solid 3, one thing that you'll need to get a handle on is how much camo you actually need to be able to sneak by enemies undetected. Enemy sight lines in MGS3 are actually pretty far, and only by wearing the right camo to match the environment will you be able to get by without alerting nearby guards. If you're relatively far away, you should generally feel safe scooting across the floor while prone, even if you're in direct eyesight of an enemy at around 70 to 80%. If you can get it to 85 to 90%, you can even get within just a few steps of an enemy without being spotted. If you're hiding under an object or hiding in grass, you've got extra protection against being spotted, but be warned that you're not completely invisible. If enemies are searching for you and wander into the grass, they will spot you.
I think I saw something.
Managing your hunger is a key element of MGS3, as having low stamina will make Snake's hands shake while aiming, reduce the amount of oxygen he has while underwater, limit his grip while he's hanging, but perhaps most importantly, it will cause his stomach to growl. This can cause guards to investigate your position even if you're completely hidden from sight.
Huh? What's that sound?
So make sure you're keeping Snake well fed and try not to let his stamina fall below half of its maximum.
I want some more.
The sonar is one of Snake's best tools when it comes to getting a feel for what's hidden behind walls and around corners, but you need to be aware that the noise it makes is actually fairly loud.
Huh? Who was that?
And like Snake's hunger pangs, will cause guards to come investigate if they hear its beeping sound. Unlike many modern stealth games where your footsteps are virtually silent as long as you're crouch walking, enemies in Metal Gear Solid 3 will turn around even if you're tilting the left stick just as lightly as you possibly can to slowly walk up behind them. Fortunately, you can hold down the left bumper to enter a stalking stance, which will eliminate your footsteps, but make you walk extremely slowly. From here you can hold forward and the CQC button to slam them to the ground and knock them out, or you can hold the CQC button without any direction to grab them. Once grabbed, you can interrogate them by clicking in the left stick.
Answer me.
Shadowhawk meets the treading behemoth.
Which will get certain enemies to reveal tips about an upcoming encounter, give you radio frequencies with unique effects, or if they've got nothing to give, they'll just struggle or plead for their lives. You can either choke them out by continuously pressing the CQC button until they pass out, break their necks by continuing to press the CQC button even after they've passed out, slit their throat by pressing X on PlayStation or A on Xbox, use them as a human shield by aiming your weapon down while holding them, or simply toss them away by pressing a direction and pressing the CQC button. Note though that if you throw them, it will not knock them out, and you'll have to deal with an alerted enemy unless you immediately point a gun at their back to hold them up, so probably not the best option. In Metal Gear Solid 3, there are 4 states of enemy detection. The first is unaware. While unaware, your enemies will walk very slowly, stick to their assigned and predictable patrols, and their vision cones will be relatively relaxed. If they do notice something amiss, an exclamation mark will appear over their heads, and they may go to investigate the area where they heard or saw something. But as long as they don't find anything, they'll simply return back to their regular patrol. If enemies find evidence of an intruder, like a knocked out or dead body, they will radio in and enter the caution state. During this state, there will likely be reinforcements, they'll be more actively searching for you, and their senses will be heightened. If they spot you even for just a second, it'll cause an alert state. In the alert state, it's kill on sight. The only way to remove the alert state is to either kill enough of the enemies in the area or completely break line of sight and remain in hiding until the timer ticks down. If the timer ticks down from an alert, you'll then be in the evasion state. The evasion state is a lot like the caution state in that enemies will have heightened senses and will immediately go to alert if they see you. But additionally, they will also search lockers and in hiding spots that they normally would just ignore if they were just in the caution state. After the timer ticks down in evasion, it will then reset under the caution state. And if they still can't find you, it will finally go back to the normal unaware state. Basically, going into high alert is very bad, and you should try to avoid it whenever possible unless you're looking to get into a prolonged firefight. Thankfully, Delta autosaves every time you enter a new area, and it's very quick to reload should you be spotted. There are lots of opportunities to use both the environment and Snake's huge assortment of items and gadgets to your advantage in Metal Gear Solid 3, giving you a ton of options of how to approach any given combat scenario. Some things to look out for especially: oil drums that can be pushed down hills to bowl over enemies, or that will explode when shot, beehives above enemy patrol lines, pervy books to distract horny guards and cause them to lose all situational awareness, empty magazines to lure unaware guards away from their posts. Heck, you can even toss caged animals at enemies, including poisonous spiders or snakes. Be on the lookout for this fly symbol on your food before you eat it. This indicates that the food has gone bad, and eating it will give Snake food poisoning,
It's rotten.
which will cause your stamina to deplete much faster, along with making Snake grab his stomach in pain occasionally, and it will even make him puke. Which, of course, will alert nearby guards. If you're in dire need to restore stamina, it is okay to eat rotten food and then immediately take digestive medicine, which will cure the food poisoning. If you don't have digestive medicine for whatever reason, you can also just spin Snake's model around in the model viewer in the cure menu until he hurls after unpausing. This will also get rid of the food poisoning, but you'll lose a chunk of stamina as a result. Additionally, you can use spoiled food as a weapon by equipping it and then tossing it towards nearby guards. And if they're hungry, they'll eat it up, causing them to either rush off to find a bathroom, vomit, or straight up collapse. You can ensure that they're hungry by blowing up a nearby food stockpile with TNT. You should always look to pick up and hold on to calorie mates and instant noodles, as these restore a ton of stamina and have the added benefit of never going bad. This likely won't come up very often, but it's still worth knowing. If you wander through mud or water and then walk on an otherwise clean surface, you will create footprints, and those footprints will be noticed by guards and investigated.
There's nothing here. Huh? Whose footprints are these?
You can use this to your advantage to lead an enemy off their regular patrol and subdue them, but it can also work against you if you're trying to hide away. Your silence weapons will be your most powerful tools in Delta, but they are not an unlimited resource. The silencers will break after repeated use, so be careful about wasting their durability against animals that can otherwise be killed with your survival knife, or during boss battles where you don't have to worry about giving away your position. You can equip and unequip silencers in the menu by pressing X on the PlayStation or A on the Xbox. In another one of those, that's cool, I don't know if it's very useful, but that's cool nonetheless, kind of details that this game is absolutely full of, you can actually disable a radio on a guard by shooting it with a well-placed shot. If you do it with a silenced weapon, they won't even notice. Then if they spot you, they won't be able to radio in for help, leaving them all to yourself.
HQ, please respond.
Damn it.
If you find that you're low on ammo for your main weapons, you can try picking up and putting down a dead or otherwise incapacitated enemy to shake their belongings off them. They only have so much though, so once they stop dropping items, it's time to move on. Knocked out enemies can wake up on their own, while enemies that are put to sleep with a tranquilizer gun will generally be knocked out unless another guard comes to kick them awake, or you sit around and wait a full 5 minutes or so. Enemies that you knock out via punches, a takedown, or a choke will come to their senses much quicker. You can tell how close they are to waking up by counting the number of stars circling their head. One of the most useful items, especially early on, is the Croc cap. As when you use this while underwater, you're basically invisible to enemies. It will also make dogs scared to attack you, even though they will still bark and cause an alert if they spot you. If you've got the sneaking DLC pack, you should have it right when you start the game, but otherwise, you're going to have to find it in the swamp of Chiorniprud. Go in the lake, swim under the water once you reach this log, climb up this tree, shimmy across the rope, drop down to the rope below, and then shimmy across again to reach an otherwise unreachable platform where you can pick up the Croc cap. And that's a rundown of things that Metal Gear Solid Delta doesn't tell you. Or at least things that it doesn't tell you if you're not ringing Major Zero for advice every 5 seconds. Thanks for watching, and for more Metal Gear Solid Delta tips and tricks, keep it here on IGN.